Hi, James. This is Dr. Jester. Wanted to go over your paper on the current events detailed outline with you. So you were to use a cultural phenomenon or practice that is troublesome to you personally. They gave you some examples here about alcohol, shellfish, pork. You selected pork as a problem for you. So what you need to do is look at that cultural phenomenon or practice you selected and discuss that. Why is it accepted in some cultures, not in others? You'll need to get into the cultural issues associated with that, so you need to be very detailed and focused. One of the issues here is that when we look at your paper, the Turnitin report, or Lopes right now, basically it is showing me that these two items I've got highlighted for you, they're showing up as direct quotes from a source without properly citing that source. For instance, this one right here is showing up to come from a source. Let me see if I can find that for you. So it is saying it came from a paper submitted to Bridgeport Education. There's no citation note with that. It's just strictly there, copied and placed into the document. And the same thing we have here. What I believe this is a quotation from the Quran, I believe. And this one is quoted from this source. But if you'll notice, if we go back to these words right here, you don't have any quotation marks. When you have a quote, that's the purpose of quotation marks, is to show these are not your words, they're the author's. Without the quotes, a reader who is familiar with academic writing is going to make an assumption that these are your words when in fact they are not. James, unfortunately, that's considered plagiarism, which is a serious academic issue. I don't think you did this intentionally, but you cannot write down the words of a source and not properly quote that source. Now, if you provide the footnote, that's one component of that. If here you're quoting the Quran, you did that correctly, you placed it in parentheses, but you have an ending quotation marks, no beginning. So basically, when something like that happens, I am required to ask for a revision. If you would, you'll need to get in this. You're dealing with health issues, religious issues. I don't see a lot of cultural issues, and that is one of the things that you have to address. You have to address cultural issues. So make sure you do that in the body of your paper. You also need to change the spacing here. You don't need to have that much blank space in your paper. So you'll need to revise this and resubmit it. Make sure you have your quotes properly quoted, okay? If there is a second incident, I'm required by the university to go ahead and do an official report on that. You would have to explain some stuff, and the university would be notified that we had, it's called a code of conduct incident. And you don't want that, I don't want that. I don't believe it was deliberate, but you do have to make sure you do it correctly, okay? Blessings on you, sir.